Okay, so no one's been on top of this mass shooting story like we have. And salute to all you guys that contribute to the channel, that continue to support the channels. Your donations are greatly appreciated. And make sure you subscribe to all 4 channels so you can reap the full benefits of this network. So if you're not subscribed to all 4 channels, you're missing out on a lot of content. But nobody's been on top of this mass shooting situation. I know you guys saw the video I did Sunday about how mass shootings are on the rise under the Biden administration. Well, they've been on the rise since the Floyd situation, since BLM reemerged May 26, 2020. So the Gun Violence Archives defines mass shootings broadly as any incident in which 4 or more are shot or killed, not including the shooter. So if the shooter shoots 3 people and somebody returns fire or the police come and kill him, that's not a mass shooting, even though 4 people were shot. A mass shooting is only when 4 people, not including the shooter, are shot. Using that methodology, mass shootings have risen in recent years, including during the pandemic. There were 611 mass shootings in 2020, up from 419 in 2019. Just think about it. With people locked down in their houses for a portion of the year, with people social distancing, with people going out less, people getting stuff delivered, everything's getting delivered, Instacart, DoorDash, Postmates, Uber Eats, Amazon, people staying in the house more so for a portion of the year. Mass shootings still went up by almost 200. And they've almost doubled from 2018. So Trump was really doing a good job with us being safe. Remember how we were supposed to be, it was supposed to be this white supremacy emboldened. In 2018, there were 337 mass shootings. 2019, 419. Then came the Democrats, the left, BLM, that whole machine. And boom, mass shootings go through the roof. So you're wondering why, unless it's a white guy, mass shootings aren't being covered, and why you didn't know that there was 611 of them last year. You're wondering why. How come I didn't know there was 611 mass shootings last year? All I heard about was racist cops. Well, this is 2019, but this is indicative of every year. They don't have the graph for 2020 yet. I think it comes out later on this year. But this is every person arrested and charged with mass shootings, and we know the majority of the mass shootings in our community, my community, there's no suspects. It's like a mystery. Like, it's just like somebody came, shot a bunch of people, and they're gone. Nobody knows nothing. And the guy never gets caught. Like, not like he gets caught 10 years later. He never gets caught. Look at these faces. You can see the white specks. The white specks in there. That's why you won't hear about mass shootings any year. Even in the year 2018 when it's 337. That's why you won't hear about it. You won't hear about it because it doesn't fit their narrative. Now, yesterday was a wild day in Atlanta that shows you how these things happen.
Following breaking news, police arrest a man for having at least one rifle inside the Atlantic Station Publix. Managers called police and police found another 4 guns and body armor on the gentleman that had them on.
Now police are digging into why the man had all the guns inside the store. Jamie Kennedy is near Atlantic Station where all this went down. Jamie.
Yeah, good afternoon, Rick. So we've just been told that the man's name is Rico Marley and he has been arrested for reckless conduct. So you can see from this video we shot earlier a large gun in the back of a police car. Now we're photographing this along with body armor that was found on the man. Now that one long gun, just one of 5 guns found on the person according to police. Now police say...
Okay, so... You see, Rico Marley, 2 days after a mass shooting that gripped the nation until everyone found out that it wasn't a white man, and then the mainstream media dropped it like a sack of potatoes. But 2 days after that, this brother goes into a grocery store in a major city with an arsenal of guns, acting strange. Not only does he survive, but he's not even wounded. He's not beat up. The cuffs don't look like they're too tight. They're not jacking him up, nothing. Brother just got detained. Why is this brother not dead? Well, because he didn't resist. When the cops came, he was like, oh. That's why. Also, you didn't hear nothing about this, did you, nationally? Because this brother caused a lot of fear. He had Atlanta gripped with fear. People were thinking that it was going to be another situation because remember, last week, it was a situation in Atlanta where a guy went around and killed 8 people at 3 different massage brothels. So it's very interesting that this guy could come with all that on the backdrop of all that and not have a scratch on him. I mean, not a scratch. And Atlanta's open carry, but we'll have to find out whether this guy had his open carry license and everything, but you still don't get to menace people. A lot of people are saying it's open carry, yeah, but you don't get to be menacing, and you don't get to be acting strange, and you don't get to be scaring people just because it's open carry.
Just one of 5 guns found on the person, according to police. Now, police say initially they got a call at around 1:30 p.m. today from store managers after customers had noticed the man in the store with a long gun on him. People in the area say they were certainly alarmed to learn what happened, especially given what has happened in a grocery store in Colorado.
I feel very uncomfortable, and I'd probably just try to get out of there as fast as I could. I would do the same. I would probably try to exit as soon as I could and alert somebody. I don't know if it's technically illegal to open carry in the state. I'm not from Georgia, but I feel very uncomfortable by it.
How interesting that these two, you have one person of color, looks like she's Southeast Asian, and you have a white girl, a Becky, a full Becky, a Becky, Western European descendant, Becky. Both of them very concerned. If they'd seen it, they'd have gone and alerted the authorities. What? You were just marching and protesting all summer, talking about getting rid of the police, while the black community was experiencing mass shooting after mass shooting after mass shooting. that went unpublicized, unreported. Mass shooting after mass shooting after mass shooting all across the black community. Many cities with 20 or more. Democratically run cities, they all had at least 20. My city, they had one party where 20 people were shot at an outdoor party. 20 people. And it didn't make the national news. And that was just one of the many mass shootings here. Okay? But these Beckys want you to know that, look, have we seen this guy, this brother, walking around looking strange with a gun in an open carry state? We'd have told the cops. Well, I'll be goddamn.
Out of there as fast as I could. I would do the same. I would probably try to exit as soon as I could and alert somebody. I don't know if it's technically illegal to open carry in the state. I'm not from Georgia, but I feel very uncomfortable by it.
So definitely tense times for people around there with this situation going on. So when I was over at Atlantic Station, at the Publix, I heard police doing background checks on the man in question there, but still this is very early stages of the investigation, so we'll keep you up to date as we have them. Live at Atlantic Station, Jamie Kennedy, CBS 46.
Breaking tonight, one suspect in custody after shots were fired at a Midtown MARTA train station. Chopper 46 flying over the scene this afternoon.
CBS 46's Adam Murphy joins us live along West Peachtree Street. And Adam, at least one person was hit by a bullet.
That's absolutely right, Rick. One person grazed by a bullet at a very busy Midtown MARTA station, the Arts Center station. This is where a lot of people come through every single day, and the Arts Center station is located off West Peachtree Street in Midtown. Now, here is what we know at this hour. Take a look at this video that we just gathered a short time ago. MARTA police are currently investigating a shooting that occurred on the northbound platform at the Arts Center station. We know that one suspect is in custody and has been transported to Grady Hospital. We also know one victim.
Okay, so we're used to the trope of the white guy who lives in his mom's basement and was bullied in high school and is an incel, and he's online on all these white supremacist chat groups, and he's being radicalized, and one day he snaps and goes and shoots a bunch of people. Okay? The build-up, the slow burn of the white mass shooter, the lone wolf. Well, in our community where probably 90% of the mass shootings happen, it's no slow burn. It's a look. It's a stare. It's a bump. It's words exchanged on the spot, and it happens right there. All that where the white lone wolf, his wife leaves him, and he was bullied in high school, and he sees things happening in the news that upset him, and he's upset about the changing of his country and things like that, and it takes years and years. These mass shootings in my community, it takes 10 seconds. And some brother pulling out a gun and shooting in a crowded, as they say, crowded, trafficked subway station. And luckily, because they shoot sideways, and they don't know how to shoot, and they just shoot anywhere, no one was hit this time. Only one person was grazed. But this is how the mass shootings happen, because this guy and his buddy see some guys they got beef with. They pull out their guns and start shooting. Well, they get in an argument with somebody, and they pull out their guns and start shooting in a crowded place, and they just shooting. And they hit 5 or 6 people. This is how mass shootings happen in our community. And no one wants to address it. This is why there's so many more. Because there's no slow burn. There's no, I'm mad about this, and it's seething for years and years, and then this happened, and then that happened, and that happened in my personal life, and that happened in my personal life, and then there's the straw that broke the camel's back, then I go buy some guns, and then I go shoot up something. No, it's brothers going out, probably had plans. These brothers probably got 7, 8 kids by 5 different women. Probably had plans. He had, no matter how idiotic or irrelevant they were, he had plans. He went out. He had things he was going to do. May have seen somebody, got into an altercation, and instantly decided to throw his life away in a public place. And whoever else he hit with the gun, with the bullets. This is why there's so many mass shootings in our community. Because impulse control, lack of it, lack of problem solving skills, lack of anger management. Just brother be out doing something and just catch a body while he out. It happens all the time in a public place. And then majority of the many times, a percentage of the times, he has a bunch of people who had nothing to do with it. Because he's doing it in a very public place. Which also begs the question, aren't these people afraid of police? Aren't these people supposed to be tiptoeing around because black people gotta tiptoe around and live on the margins and the borders of American society because we're so disenfranchised? We can't be too loud and too out there because American society doesn't allow that. But every day in every city, it's a bunch of brothers shooting broad daylight, shooting it out broad daylight in public, very well foot trafficked places. Doesn't seem like some people that are just living on the margins of life, of society, and tiptoeing through life and making themselves small because they don't want to be. Doesn't sound like that.
Police are currently investigating a shooting that occurred on the northbound platform at the Arts Center station. We know that one suspect is in custody and has been transported to Grady Hospital. We also know one victim, as I mentioned, was grazed in the leg by a bullet. Now, while the shooting happened at the MARTA station, police pursued and apprehended at least 2 suspects a block away on 14th Street. Our cameras were there to capture police tracking down the suspects. And we want to point out, though, we know from MARTA Police only one suspect is currently in custody at this time. Now, I have reached out to MARTA PD for an update. I'm told more information will be released as it becomes available. To recap, one man grazed by a bullet during a shooting at the MARTA station here, the Arts Center MARTA station in Midtown, and another person is in custody. We will continue to follow developments this afternoon. We have seen law enforcement out here protecting those individuals that are coming and going from the station. The station is open, but certainly on high alert. Live in Midtown tonight, Adam Murphy, CBS 46.
This drive-by shooting at a playground in the Bronx was captured on video. You can see 2 people on a scooter. The person in the back pulls out a handgun and then fires towards the kids playing. The kids are seen scattering, trying to get away from the gunfire. Thankfully, nobody was injured. 3 shots did hit nearby parked cars, though. Anybody with any information about the people on the scooter or the shooting is asked to call NYPD's Crime Stoppers hotline. That phone number is 1-800-577-TIPS. Katie Johnston for CBSNewYork.com.
Did you see that? Rolled past and shot indiscriminately. I'm talking about while traveling 40, 45 miles an hour on a scooter. Just pulled out a gun. They call it a handgun. These guns are semi-automatic. Even though that handgun, you could tell it was semi-automatic by the way he was firing it. Just spraying into a playground. Now, I don't think he was shooting at the kids. I'm sure some teenagers some little hoodlums, some little gang member teenagers that they got beef with that may have shot up their neighborhood, or may have done something, or may have just looked at them, or may have said something on social media that they to them. Sneak dissed them on social media. That's where a lot of this stuff starts. But anyway, they come back and spray up the playground with a bunch of kids on it. There were a gang of kids out there. And like I told you, that's how mass shootings happen. These guys weren't home listening to Elijah Muhammad or Khalid Muhammad or Louis Farrakhan or Malcolm X and getting radicalized. Nah, it's just normal behavior every day. These guys probably are responsible for a bunch of shootings in the city. In New York, the Bronx. They just come by. I guess this is where the ops hang out at. So what? It's a bunch of kids out there and people that had nothing to do with it. We just gonna spray the whole playground. And a portion of the time, those bullets hit people. Multiple people. 4 or more people. And there's a mass shooting. The line is very thin. I'm just showing you guys this to show you how many mass shootings are thwarted because these guys, just by luck, just the grace of God.
This drive-by shooting at a playground in the Bronx was captured on video. You can see 2 people on a scooter. The person in the back pulls out a handgun and then fires towards the kids playing. The kids are seen scattering, trying to get away from the gunfire. Thankfully, nobody was injured. 3 shots did hit nearby parked cars, though. Anybody with any information about the people on the scooter or the shooting is asked to call NYPD's Crime Stoppers hotline. That phone number is 1-800-577-TIPS. Breaking at 11. Brand new video just in shows a little boy bleeding on the ground outside of Cumberland Mall. We are learning the child was one of 2 people shot there tonight.
This all happening in the Cumberland Mall parking lot near Buffalo Wild Wings and the Cheesecake Factory. CBS 46's Sierra Cummings live in Cobb County with the very latest. Sierra.
Investigators left here around 9 o'clock tonight. As you mentioned, it all unfolded right in front of the Buffalo Wild Wings, where detectives had the parking lot blocked off for hours. A child shot in the leg here. We're going to give you a look at that video showing a young boy sitting on the curb, bleeding with a look of fear on his face. Someone next to him applying pressure to his leg. He's one of 2 victims. The other person shot in the foot. Cobb County police say at least 2 people, possibly more, were shooting at each other. In the aftermath, that child and another person injured. Then 2 suspect cars took off. The motive
is unknown, unclear. But the point that I want to make here is that this could have been a mass shooting. They only hit 2 people. They didn't hit. They 2 groups pull out guns, start shooting at each other over argument. Something that happened right there. Not. He lost his wife in June of last year. He lost his job in September. In December, he started getting on chat rooms and getting radicalized and started yada, 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 and Trump and, well, in this case, Biden and Kamala, and he starts seeing things, or Black Lives Matter, and he starts seeing things, and he's upset because the state of the country, and he's tired of seeing brothers getting, and then he loses his apartment, and yada, yada. No. 2 groups of brothers go out to have a good time with a bunch of other people having a good time. Families, girlfriends, going out to eat. Buffalo Wild Wings, great fun place. 2 groups of people raised by women without any male structure in the home, get in a cat fight, see each other start looking at each other funny and getting sassy, and it would be one thing if it was machismo. It's sassiness and cattiness. But these are men with testosterone and guns. So they start shooting at each other in the parking lot like it's the OK Corral. It only hit 2 people, but had they hit 2 more, this would be a mass shooting.
The motive is unclear, but a restaurant employee told us there appeared to be a verbal dispute among a few men in the parking lot. We watched detectives map out a perimeter and even tow a car from the scene here tonight. Now, this happened today at 6 o'clock, a time where the mall was very busy with people inside and outside. Right now, we're working to learn how those victims are doing. Police told us tonight they cannot confirm yet why or even how this all started. Live in Cobb County, I'm Sierra Cummings, CBS 46.
Breaking at 11. A man is dead, another person hurt after a shooting at a DeKalb County convenience store. This happened just outside this food mart on Flat Shoals Parkway, just south of Decatur tonight. Police say a verbal fight led to the shooting. One man died on the scene. The second victim is in critical condition. One person is also in custody.
Yeah, that's right, Rosemary. Police say because of those COVID restrictions, this party wasn't supposed to happen. Now they're looking for whomever is responsible for pulling the trigger. Police say that this shooting killed 1 man, hurt 5 others, and endangered more than 100 people. 1 man was shot more than a dozen times. You come here, you see an SUV banged up, a car parked up on the sidewalk, a scooter on its side. What are your thoughts?
It's just so disheartening. It's like this stuff just won't stop.
Majida Rashid.
Now, this is a place called Nicetown. This place is literally called Nicetown. And you know who came there, and it's no longer a very nice town.
Majida Rashid in disbelief after a pop-up party turned violent in Nicetown. 6 people shot, 1 man dead inside the Hot Pot Cuisine After Hours Club. It's across the street from the Nicetown CDC, where Majida is chief operating officer.
We keep coming up on these hurdles that we can't put our arms around. This is the element that we can't really reach, you know, because there's a lot of good going on in the community.
There were at least 150 people in there that fled and believed that they had to flee for their lives. So, I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
Philadelphia police rushed to Germantown Avenue after gunfire erupted at 3:45 a.m. Investigators say the 39-year-old man who died was shot 14 times. Police say the restaurant violated the city's COVID restrictions for indoor gatherings.
We've been successful in the past with shutting down this property as the event space has gone, but as we can see, it popped up again, and we'll have to stay on it.
The most recent weekly crime report says the number of shooting victims is up 48% compared to this time last year. The gun violence creating an uphill battle for community leaders as the warmer months approach.
We're on a trajectory of 600 plus homicides this year, and so it's totally unacceptable. We're in a crisis around this issue of gun violence.
We're going to keep on working together and keep trying to make a positive influence in the community.
Now let's talk about the ripple effect caused by this shooting within its own neighborhood. This isn't just impacting the people that were at that after-hours club. The Nicetown CDC was supposed to go door to door today in that area and talk to residents about the resources in their own neighborhood. Well, because of this shooting, those plans had to change. Live at police headquarters in Center City, I'm Brandon Hudson, NBC 10 News.
All right, so back to our guy, Rico Marley. Rico. This brother may have been going through something. He may be a great guy who's going through something. However, let's just talk about Atlanta, and then we'll look at it nationally. Given what goes on in Atlanta, the fact that if there's a shooting in Atlanta, you can bet your house that it was a brother that did it. Except for the one last week. That was like the only one that I've seen since I've been doing this the way it wasn't a brother. Given that, this brother going into the Publix with a bunch of guns in the car and guns on them, acting crazy, body armor on, all that stuff, that should have been a bigger story. But it wasn't. Because the mainstream media thinks that they're helping somehow the black community by denying, like, you're not helping. This does not help. We need this shouted off the mountaintop. We need lawmakers and politicians to address this, like Joe did back in the 90s. Joe Biden addressed this back in the 90s, because the 90s was wild, more wild. The 90s were where this is trending. This is not, what's going on now is not really where the 90s was, but it's trending that way. And Joe was the man for the job. He came up with that crime bill that I criticized for years. Y'all know I've been very critical of that crime bill. But now, I kind of have to be like, and I'm still not a Joe Biden fan, but that, I'm able to compartmentalize. That policy he had with the crime bill, just thinking about things in the 90s were probably twice as bad as this. Things would have to get way, way worse for it to be like it was in the 90s. And then they were coming off the 80s, where things in the 80s were worse than even the 90s. So you would have to something has to be done. Okay? Something has to be done. But this brother going into that Publix with all them guns, the fact that it's not a big deal, but if he was white, it would be like red alert. It would be all over the CNN would have reported on it. A white male went into the Publix with guns today, and he did X, Y, Z, and yada yada yada. That would have been reported on CNN and MSNBC. This didn't see no news outside of Atlanta. And Democrats think they're helping us. They don't think they're helping us, but they're pandering to us. They know black folk don't want to hear about this stuff. Black leaders and you see the black leaders on the ground. They want this addressed, but the national leaders, the BLMs, the whatever the other thing that Tamika Mallory and Mike Sanka, whatever their organization is, all these other black organizations, the NAACP, the Urban Coalition, the yada yada. They don't want this. This is the secret. This is the. I used to have a girl, and she had a twin brother who was like mentally, kind of like, he was slow. He was challenged, and I swear to God, I didn't even know she had. He used to stay in the back room. She lived with a couple of her sisters, but he would stay in the back room. He was mentally challenged. I was with this girl for a couple of years and didn't even know she had a brother, because they kept him in the back room. Then one day he like came out and was just like tripping and whatnot, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" It was like, "Oh yeah, that's just my twin bro." I was like, "What?" But it's like, that's basically the best way I could describe the way the black leadership, on the national level, sees this element of our community. They want to hide it in the back room, and it keeps coming out, drooling and tripping and screaming and yelling while companies around, or companies over. And then something's gonna have to be done. Get in the comment section, like, subscribe, donate, peace. Okay, guys, quick reminder, take a moment to take the $5 challenge and support this channel and the hard work we do to bring you these news stories every night and cover what the mainstream media won't cover. We don't have the same budget as CNN or MSNBC, but we do appreciate all you guys' support and all you guys who have taken the $5 challenge in the past and all you guys who will take it in the future. So remember, take the $5 challenge via PayPal, via the Cash App, and if you're watching this during a premiere, you can also take the $5 challenge via the Super Chat. Thank you, and we look forward to continuing to bring you the news that you deserve every night.